Hello, everyone. Welcome to Retail Talk. I'm Dunya, marketing team lead from Fiscal Solutions, and I want to thank you first for joining us today. We'll be discussing the most important retail trends that are shaping 2026, based not on speculation, but on what retailers and solution providers are already building and funding. Please feel free to share the stream, leave your comments, and follow Fiscal Solutions, our guests, and this page for more insights like this. With me, as you can see, are two people who spend their lives inside retail tech and fiscalization. Darko Pavic, CEO of Fiscal Solutions, and Milan Lazarevic, our general manager.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Thank you for joining. So, before we dive into trends, let's take a step back. I think 2025 was quite a turbulent year for retail. From your perspective, how was this year for retailers and how was it for solution providers?
Who should start? Shall I start or you, Milan?
You can go ahead, Darko.
Okay, so let me give you or our audience first couple of words about ourselves. And first, I will introduce myself, of course, as I have the opportunity to start as the first. So I'm Darko, I'm CEO of the company, and the founder. And it was really interesting to hear that I'm whole life in the retail. That sounds good. So Dunya, you can repeat that several times. I like that. But it's not really whole life, but more majority of my career, of course. More than 29 years or something like that. I am in the retail tech, of course. And last 23 years, I'm running the company Fiscal Solutions, focused just on retail and on the fiscalization. I'm really excited today to be here because this kind of events, especially in December, are tradition for us. So every December, Milan and we are talking about trends that we see in the future. And I think this is important, of course, first for everyone who is taking care about retailers and retail, but also for us as a software company in order to prepare us for the things that are coming in the next year. So that's why talking about trends, it's not just a marketing topic for us. It's a real technical preparation for the upcoming things. So if we today discuss trends that we see, this means mostly for us that we discuss those topics with our customers and users, and some of them, or probably many of them, mentioned those trends, ideas, concepts, and so on, and we already started to work on the implementation of those things or to understand how those trends are influencing fiscalization and so on. So that's why maybe it's called trend, but for us, it's much more. For us, it's like a planning tool for our roadmap. So far, so good about me and about this day today. And now let me give you a short overview about the year, how I think that 2025 was, or still is actually. And I have to say that it was really, I'm not sure what is the right word. So I think everybody was really under the high pressure. We had so many difficult situations. If we talk about geopolitics, if we talk about, unfortunately, running wars, about tariffs, about trade wars, and all those kind of negative things, I think they are creating huge pressure on everyone, not just on the retailers or other businesses, but really on everyone, even on the personal level. So that's why the year was really hard. It was not easy. Nevertheless, we see we saw in the retail industry lots of things which are moving with unbelievable speed. We see the e-commerce, which is continuing to grow. We see that the stores are moving direction phygital experiences, let's call it like that. Retail media exploded in this year. We have a really fast innovations, and most of them are somehow related to the AI. So the AI is the biggest catalyst that I see in this year, which is driving, let's say, the major change which we just witnessed or we are witnessing in the moment. So I think beside all those standard things which we had with lots of innovation, like improved self-checkout, fraud detection, supply chain optimization, and so on, all that we had in 2025. And additionally, on top, we had all those very interesting topics like AI, agentic AI, and so on. So to be honest, I never saw more excited year than 2025 was, because there are so many things happening on both sides, positive and negative. I never saw that. So that's why I'm excited today to talk about trends that we see for the next year.
Thank you.
All right, I guess it's my turn now. So thank you for introduction. So Milan Lazarevic, General Manager. Yes, I mean, I've been in this retail and a fiscal business for many years. And I can say that together with Darko, not only this year, many years, we start visiting many customers across the globe, because our customers are coming from 6 continents. Plus, we are participating in different events from New York to Beijing, considering the retail tech, the modern technologies and everything. So we are collecting different information, or I'm collecting different information from these experiences, and also in a direct communication with our customers. So I can agree with Darko. The year behind us was really interesting from many perspectives. And I could say that some companies actually made a huge progress by introducing these new and modern technologies into their ecosystem, gaining unbelievable profits that could not be possible just by opening new stores and, I don't know, gaining the new business and things like that. So I could say that the year behind us is very interesting. Some of the trends that Darko and I have been communicated last year show up as a real trends, and they became a mainstream. And of course, we are recognizing some of them that is going to happen in the 2026, and I'm more than happy to discuss it with you during today's event.
Okay, well, thank you so much for this first introductory answer about 2025. But now let's move to the trends that we think are going to happen in 2026. Darko, we'll start with you. Can you please pick the first trend?
Yes. What else? AI, of course. No, but there is something. What is really one topic which is really becoming very, very interesting and very concrete. So we started in this year with many different AI topics, but one of them is really, really impressive. And I think these are the AI agents, which are more and more used in retail. But if we are talking about AI agents, I have to say that there are 2 possible perspectives how you can see them. The one and the most common is actually that the AI agents are personal shopping assistants, like super assistants on steroid, which can do everything for you, whatever you imagine. And this is partially getting through already in this year. So the big companies like, like Amazon, like Visa, like Salesforce, like Walmart, or recently even Target, they created already certain agents which are helping the customers to find a certain product. So those agents are actually doing following things. They are researching for the products or searching for the products. They are negotiating the prices with retailers. They are buying and they are paying. So this is like, as I mentioned, like personal shopping assistants on steroids. So they are doing complete chain or complete process, sales process in the name of the consumer. This is one side of agentic AI, and everybody is talking about that. But trust me, to be honest, I don't see that as a trend, because this is okay and this will develop and this is huge, I'm sure, and this will reshape the retail industry, especially the e-commerce and even the physical stores. But I see something coming which nobody's talking about, and this is the AI agent as a retailer. So I see agents as a consumer and customer helping tools, and I see them as new retailers. And now let's think about that. What would that actually mean if the retailer implement AI agents as a new retailer? For me personally, this is opening, I see that at least, that this is opening the new business opportunities. I'm sure that next year we will see the retailers without stores, without online shops, but with the army of AI agents, sales agents, which are doing nothing else but searching for the consumers and offering to the consumers certain things. Actually, why not, if you think about that? If I would be the retailer, I would think about that, how to automate my sales procedure, not just to react, let's say, on certain agents which are coming towards me to negotiate the prices and to find the right product. So I see that area as well. And because we see that as a real topic and a real trend, we created even something which we called actually white paper about agentic AI and agentic commerce, AI commerce. And this white paper you can download if you use this barcode on your right-hand side probably. You can scan it and download the white paper that we wrote from the legal point of view and technical point of view and philosophy and idea point of view about expecting trend where the agentic AI is used or agents are used to be the new retailers. Because in that new environment, we see a huge problem related to the VATs. How to calculate the VATs and who is responsible for that. So we did that analysis from the perspective of the fiscalization as well. I think this is the first analysis in the world from that perspective and from that point of view. And now we will see if this will really be common in the future. Yesterday, or a couple of days ago, something happened which confirmed my idea of the AI agents as retailers. And this was the fact that the Stripe, company Stripe, and I think everybody knows Stripe, the payment giant, they developed and released something what they called Agentic Commerce Suite. So it's like a software development environment where the retailer can connect own products, own catalog of products, select the agent that they want to use to sell those goods, those items, and Stripe is doing that for them. So it's selling, let's say, it's doing the payment, it's promoting and doing all these kind of things in the name of the retailer, not in the name of the consumer. So this switch in the perspective, in the mind of or understanding of the AI agents, that's what I see for the next year as a big trend coming, most probably for sure.
Yeah, I believe so, but also if you guys want, like we already suggested, you can download the white paper and see for yourself. But I would like to see now, Milan, can you tell me, are fiscal solution customers already dealing with AI agents? What does the market say?
Yeah, I mean, Darko already mentioned some of, not necessarily our direct customers, the potential customers are actually manufacturers of the POS solutions, and as well as the retailers are experimenting with AI agents. So there was like Walmart, Shopify, Salesforce, H&M, and so on. So all of them are doing something. So if I have to speak about some exact example, if you go to Sephora store, you are actually able to use AI assistant, which is based on the AR, and which suggesting you to try certain makeup on based on your skin tone and your hairstyle and different things. So you can actually see how it looks like on you and make a decision about the purchase. Very similar with H&M, they're using AI agents to help you choose the perfect clothes based on your maybe on a weather or the occasion and different things. So yes, definitely, it's as I mentioned at the very beginning, retailers and POS solution providers are introducing it into their products and sales channels in order to gain more profit.
Mm-hmm.
Can I add something to that? Because I think there is one point which I think is very important. Today, everybody is connecting AI agents with e-commerce actually, and with online business of the retailers. And it's logical. It's the best place to see the AI agents today, even if they are retailers, or it doesn't matter if they are customers as well. But I see something else also very important, and this is the understanding that AI agents can be used, and even very good used, on the traditional POS. Because imagine the situation that you don't have any POS application, you have a just machine, just point of sale hardware, and AI agents running on that, and then you tell, more or less, you tell to the agent, now act as a fiscal ready point of sale in Greece. These guys are smart enough, they are able to run the certain retail processes, even the fiscal processes. Why should I need actually point of sale software or any other software? I could ask AI agents to act as a software. And trust me, I'm sure that this will be a very important point. Maybe not next year, but for 2027 or maybe 2028, we will see. The idea of the typical point of sale application on the POS hardware will be changed. Absolutely.
Okay, interesting. Thank you, Darko, for this point of view. But let's stay with AI for a moment and talk about the most popular AI, ChatGPT. So, Darko, you yourself posted a few weeks ago that we should be expecting something big from ChatGPT. Can you tell us more what you were referring to?
Yes, so actually, this is my favorite trend. And why is it my favorite trend? Because nobody see it coming, only me. No, I'm just kidding. There are a couple of people which very clearly recognize that, but it's not that common. And why it's not that common? Because it's a strategy, as I think that I see, the strategy of ChatGPT, which is slowly creating something which we can call super app. Probably many of you know the super app from China, WeChat, which is doing absolutely everything. Payment, social community features, accessing to certain things, even unlocking the doors, it's possible from the WeChat. So this is the size and the importance of that application. Milan and I, we visited China a couple of months ago. You cannot do almost nothing without such a kind of app, in this case, WeChat. So, and now I mapped, let's say, what I saw in those countries and in that kind of applications with the strategy of the ChatGPT. And I think I recognized a very interesting pattern. So it means what they are actually doing in the moment. They are creating the payment within the ChatGPT so that you can pay. Then they are creating the shopping within the ChatGPT so that you can search in order to buy something and pay with the previous implemented feature. So then they are creating community features. Now many people can jointly use ChatGPT. This is nothing else that community and social network way of dealing with each other over the application, which is ChatGPT. Then the newest development are so-called the next version of the store GPTs, which are actually ChatGPT apps. So this means a couple of selected companies are able today to develop the apps which are running within the ChatGPT. And this is exactly the same way and exactly the same idea like WeChat is doing. Today, we can develop WeChat app with our knowledge and with developers and so on, and publish that, and everybody can use it. Absolutely same way and same situation is happening in the ChatGPT. So this is already happened. So lots of different companies like Booking.com and so on already created apps which can run within the ChatGPT. And in the following weeks, ChatGPT will publish a software development kit, SDK. As soon as SDK is there, so this means that everybody will be able to develop apps in the ChatGPT. If everybody is doing that, and ChatGPT has lots of users, I have totally new channel to sell whatever I have and to offer whatever I have, or to implement the features which are very useful for everyone for daily life, and through that added value which I create by that, to sell myself or some other services. So this is definitely the way how to create a super app. Everything is already there. And then after I got those thoughts, let's say, suddenly I saw an article in the Wall Street Journal published a couple of weeks ago, written, or it was a guy wrote it, and it was a kind of interview with the CEO of the ChatGPT, or OpenAI, better to say, applications. I think his name is Fiji Simo. I'm not exactly sure that I pronounce it well, but he told following, and now I will read it. The idea is to make ChatGPT useful in every part of life without simply backing a series of applications in one super app. Actually, what he confirmed is that ChatGPT is thinking, or OpenAI is thinking about development of OpenAI, or sorry, super app, and everything what they are doing is going in that direction to become very useful in the life. Unfortunately, I don't think that market is recognizing that yet, but I'm sure that this will come. And why I think that market is not recognizing that really yet, I've wrote an article for Forbes about the trends which are coming and we are discussing today. And I wanted to include this trend about super app from ChatGPT in the article. If you scan the barcode over there, you will be able to read the article. I wanted to include there the super app, but unfortunately the editors told me that super app strategy is that I think I see is still very subjective trend. So it's probably just that I see it and nobody else. So that's why you will not find it in the article of Forbes, but all others. So this is telling me that the market is thinking in the moment a little bit different, but I'm completely sure that this is the strategy. And trust me, my company will for sure develop an app for the fiscalization.
That sounds great. What do you think, Milan? First, do you use ChatGPT personally, and do you agree with Darko's point of view that it will become a super app, or is it just him as Forbes thinks so?
Yeah, I definitely use ChatGPT beside the other large language models in everyday work. It's really helpful. And I agree with most of the elements that Darko mentioned right now. I agree it's definitely going to represent a new sales channel because just during conversation, it's going to be, retailers are going to be able to offer more products that are somehow connected, or to have the personalized approach, or just secure same-day delivery and similar things. So it's definitely going to happen. What I also see, Darko was mentioning something about integrating different apps with ChatGPT. As far as I understand, this SDK, it's available to the companies that are actually in certain version. Yes?
I didn't know. I just confirmed. So good to know. I didn't know that.
This is the reason why I'm saying you said something different. So I was not 100% sure. While you were saying, I was checking with Perplexity about ChatGPT.
Good.
So they confirmed that SDK is available. And what else I conclude is that actually expectation is going into direction that Darko was briefly explained in terms of the super app, because if we are all using the ChatGPT, and just in USA, there is like 90 million consumers that are using it. So it's a huge number of people using ChatGPT every day. So there is some estimation for the companies that succeed in implementing this ChatGPT will succeed in referring those customers to their apps in 28% year over year. So this is really significant volume of potential customers. And this concept is actually changing retail focus from current, which is search engine optimization, to the machine readable data, which is forcing quick API integration. So I definitely see this becoming very popular in the future. And I can also agree about the China, but we also have to consider some differences with the rest of the world. If you're speaking about the Europe, then we are speaking about GDPR. In US, there are some different standards. Of course, it's a new technology, people trying to standardize it and harmonize it. But this is also making some challenges in being able to offer so many things through one super apps, because in China it's a bit different. But I agree, it's definitely potential, huge potential, and I see many retailers going into that direction.
Great. Well, thank you, Milana, for your point of views. But let's now move a little bit away from AI and let's go back for a moment to the real life. I will just use this opportunity to invite you to our next webinar about Hungary, because everybody knows how complex is Hungarian fiscalization, but it seems like there are some changes coming. And my colleagues will give you the update about what's changing, when, and how. And well, you can register using this QR code. It will be happening tomorrow. But now let's come back to the trends. Let's talk about something that's been like really emerging. Do you see any new types of retail taking off? Are there any specific retail segments that you see growing particularly fast, maybe? What do you think?
Yes. Shall I start? Or?
Yeah, please do.
Okay. So probably everybody knows already I have 4 children, and those children are in the age between 19 and 26. So it's exactly that age where you are very, looking on sustainable environment protection, looking about also economical topics, of course, because you don't have lots of money in that age, but you want also to be very stylish and these kind of things. So that kind of people, this kind of generation is, or that part of the generation, I'm not sure what is that, Z probably, that generation is driving something which is coming up like a rocket. And this is something what we call re-commerce. And I thought that re-commerce is always just second-hand, but no, second-hand is belonging to re-commerce area, it is, but it's much more. It's like repair, refurbish, rental, and all these kind of whatever things, reuse at the end, which are actually very sustainable things and good things for our environment and our world. But that Gen Z that I just explained, and the situation which is very difficult in the moment in the world, that's why we started with the problems that the world has in the moment, that situations are pushing development of the retail concepts like re-commerce. It's a not new, let's say, way of retailing, but the way how re-commerce is done today, it's definitely different than a couple of years ago. Let me give you just an example. There are several providers of different apps, mostly, to enable, let's say, the re-commerce and use of the second-hand items. Let's mention a couple of them: Poshmark, Depop, Vinted, and so on. And those apps are combining, let's say, the social network characteristics with buying and of second-hand things, and creating totally new experience and community sense among those people, among those young people. So that's first the new topic, that kind of combination between social commerce and re-commerce. And I think this is one of the important points. But this is not the only thing which is pushing that trend to boom like it's booming now. Economic factors are very important. That generation don't have that much money. They don't want to spend so much money on certain items. And that's why the e-commerce or economic part is, of course, very important for them. The second factor was, of course, sustainability. This generation is really aware of the environmental topic. They want to save the environment, to protect the environment. So that's why they are, by nature, pushing already re-commerce. Then we have the style topic, which I mentioned. My children want to be different. And I think every young adult wants to be different than everybody else. They want to define the unique and own style. And some kind of vintage way of thinking, even if those things are not vintage, but even the new items, that's creating, in many cases, a new style for those young adults. Then we have topic about social networks, which I just mentioned, because suddenly young people can become even influencers in that small niche, in the small market of the people which love secondhand, for example. And this is, in many cases, easier than becoming an influencer on TikTok or Instagram or whatever. This is interesting situation which is happening there. And at the end, we see something very interesting happening. The big brands are entering that space as well. And there are even kind of marketing analysis run by KPMG, which see in 2026 that more than 70% of the major brands and major retailers are thinking about implementing sales channels which are called re-commerce actually. So this means in 2026 we will see probably parts of the stores or separate apps or something different, let's say, under the umbrella of big brands to jump on that train of re-commerce. I'm expecting that for sure. And at the end, this is actually good for everyone. I saw some reports a couple of months ago that this boom of the re-commerce influenced or created around 25% reduction of the waste which we have on the planet in general. So at the end, this is one of the greatest trends which I see that will happen in next year.
Well, I believe that's one of the most eco-friendly retail trends.
Right.
Yeah, so it definitely is an interesting topic, but isn't re-commerce still a niche? What do you think?
Darko just mentioned it a little bit earlier. It's definitely not a niche, and I don't see it as honestly, I don't see it as a new thing because, as also Darko mentioned it a couple of years ago, it started a couple of years ago, so it's definitely not something new. It's definitely changing the form, or it's actually adding different channels or possibilities, but it's something that is already exists on the market. When I was so last year when we had the retrospective of the year and also speaking about trends, I was using the example of Horbach, which was giving the presentation how they are actually buying. This is the do-it-yourself retailer from Germany that is actually having really successful operational model. Soon they are probably going to open their stores in Serbia. We are welcoming them here. And they've been speaking about what they are doing in their stores. So I don't want to repeat myself, go that deep what they're doing. I already speak about it last year. I also collected some information about these trends. And actually, there is like 60% of the customers on a global scale that plans second-hand shopping in 2026. So this is one significant figure that I recognize. And if you are speaking about, Darko was speaking about his kids, but if you are speaking about Gen Z, there is like 73% willing to change habits for environmental impacts. And 8 out of 10 is already buying used. So these are significant numbers. And if somebody is not following this trend, Dark also mentioned there will be like 70% of the retailers that will be introducing it in near future, or actually in 2026. So I agree with that. And it's definitely something where retailers should look for additional source of income.
Milan, you said 8 out of 10, right?
This is the information that I found on the internet when I was preparing for this session. Yeah.
This is great. So I'm trying to translate that in my brain to the percentages. So it's 80%. So this means almost everyone in that generation, in that group, is ready to do something and to buy the second-hand items. This is really great. And this.
But I have a question for you, because now you mentioned this younger generation, and I was thinking about it. Actually, I'm starting from myself. I'm not in this age. I would not somehow buy this secondhand. This is just not my cup of tea. I'm not sure what you think about it. I would rather go for the.
Good
if
question.
I have opportunity, I would always go for a new one. If you know what I mean.
I love your question. And I will tell you, I will answer to that question very clearly. Yes, I would buy secondhand. And I can explain you why. But before I do that, I can give you a short story about that. A couple of months ago, I was with my wife in London. And London has great shops, second-hand shops, and you can find items over there that you cannot find anywhere else. These are not necessarily vintage items, but they are a little bit older, of course, but they are very unique and very special. And you cannot buy this kind of fashionable, styled items anywhere else. And even if those items were not that popular maybe at that time, or maybe they were very common and everybody had them, but nowadays, not everybody had them. So if I have this kind of jacket, with a very interesting drawings on it that nobody has seen since 30, 40 years, I feel somehow special because at least everybody's looking at me. Look at this guy, he's crazy. He's wearing such a crazy jacket. But so I think, yes, I would buy it. Lots of those items are really good quality. And we should not forget that before a second-hand item is reaching the store, it's going through the quality assurance phases or whatever. So you are not buying old and bad items, you are buying old and good items, which is fine, absolutely, why not?
Okay, thank you.
Sure. And you? What about you?
No,
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but since I am younger than both of you, and I'm also not part of Gen Z, I am a part of my millennial group, but like a younger millennial, I can say based on me and my friends that we have adapted secondhand shopping long time ago, and like right now it became a lot of popular, and now there's a difference between being just secondhand and being vintage. Vintage means that those are brands like Prada, etc., and secondhand can be whatever, it's just secondhand. So yeah, I believe that this trend is not only for Gen Z but also millennials, especially I believe millennials in the United States as well, but also in Europe, because like in Europe now, when you visit some of the cities, when you have a list like what to visit, now you can also see like a good vintage shop that is in one,
Right.
like the top 10 places to see,
Right.
because you can find really interesting gems there. So, well,
Yes.
that is, at least is my point of view, but because it's always a great experience when you visit a secondhand shop. But when we are already now speaking of experiences, do you see any strong trends in experience-based retail, maybe?
Just a second before we touch that point, because I can talk a lot about that that part. I see Richard joined us. So hi, Richard. It's great to see you again. You are asking about US, of course. Yes, I have to say that this re-commerce and second-hand trend is coming actually from US. So the Europe and other parts of the world are a little bit, they are also very good, but not that fast as US. And I think the reason is based on the tariffs which are actually happening, and we have it today in US. And this is, of course, creating the prices which are more expensive, and the young people, young adults have usually less money, and that's why they are pushed more or less to push that trend. So I think this is happening in Europe as well, of course, but US is even the driver of that trend as I see it. So the most requests and the most questions and the most comments are coming actually from US. Did they have a beta player? I'm not sure to understand what is beta player. If we are developing software, we think that beta software is some kind of testing software. So we want to test. So Richard, if you like to explain a little bit more, what do you think under the beta player? Just give me ideas. If you think about which retailers are testing these trends the most, I see the new retailers coming more than that old retailers are testing that. I mentioned the platforms like Depop and Vinted and some others. Those guys are actually the new retailers, more or less, actually platforms, but I see them as the new retailers, which are bringing together the customers and the private people which are selling the goods, the items. I think this is the key, the connection between direct connection between end user and the seller. And this is very unique concept, which is making it flourishing. That's joke. No, it's not joke. I don't know why Richard think that it's joke, but it's actually really happening. Even if there are some, of course, funny parts of it, let's call it like that. But it's happening, yes.
Thank you, Darko, for answering
Sure.
this question. So let's just go back to my previous question. Do you see
Richard meant, sorry, I understood it now. Richard meant that his message about beta player was joke. Sorry, Richard. Now I understood. It's okay. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Do you see any strong trends in experience-based retail?
Yes. Shall I continue with that? Because I love that part. Couple of years ago, I was in Singapore, I think, and I was in the hotel, let's say, and I wanted to go to the supermarket. Supermarket was directly on the opposite side of the hotel. I entered the supermarket, but what I saw was a restaurant. So I was not sure that I'm on the right place. So I went out and I checked the advertising and the name and everything. And yes, it was actually supermarket. I was absolutely sure. But already then, and this was a couple of years ago, the supermarkets start changing. So they created a certain areas where you can enjoy certain experiences, like, for example, to eat the food which you can buy in the same store, or to prepare sushi, or to get prepared sushi, which is actually in the same store and you can buy it. And this kind of concept to extend the stores to the experience area, now we see that kind of concepts really booming and exploding. And I think it is important that this is happening, and it's clear for me why is it happening. On one side, we have e-commerce, which is developing really, really fast. We have mostly online AI-based sales, which is also developing very, very fast. And this is creating the thoughts that physical store is dying. And the retailers which are running the physical stores are afraid, of course, that the store concept will die. So that's why they are thinking about ideas and the concepts, how to attract actually the consumer to the store, to stay in the store and to be in the store. Although we have to see that 80% of the purchases, 80% of the transactions in the world are happening in the store. So the stores will not die for sure. But if we think about the future 2 to 5 years, it can be an issue that the people are doing more online sales than in the store. So retailers knows that they are masters of understanding the consumers. So they are preparing themselves. And what they are doing, they are changing the concepts of the store. They are creating experience areas. Sometimes you can call it social hubs. Means the people can meet in those stores, they can chat, they can talk, they can exchange information, test something and so on. And based on that feeling that you feel good in that store, it's much more probably that you will buy something than if you are just in rush and, trying to find something. So the retailers are trying to organize the stores and to arrange the store on that way that the people feel better. Now, everybody needs different things to feel better. If you're talking about my kids, my son, he loves video games, so he will feel perfectly in the tech store where he can test the video games. My daughter, she is more fashionable girl, and she likes Instagram, and she's of course doing this kind of things, selfies and these kind of things. She will love stores where she can do the selfies. So this means the retailers understand that, and that's why the tech stores are creating environments where the tech guys enjoy. Fashion stores are creating the environments where the fashion people, let's call it like them, are enjoying. And this is suddenly creating a new way of stores and the new, let's say, store environment, which are social hubs, experience hubs, entertainment hubs, and so on. We can call that phygital experience, which means actually connection between online and physical in the direction of the entertainment. Okay, and I think very soon lots of stores will implement something in that area. In order to show you what I really mean, I think we have a small video which we can show you, which is basically from MediaMarkt, which is actually German retailer, or I have to correct myself, not anymore, now Chinese retailer, because JD.com bought them. And this is the good example how the store can change in order to become experience hub and to offer those things which I just talked about. I will comment it a little bit. This is Hamburg, a beautiful city in Germany, and this is the store that I will visit with you together in just a couple of seconds. We will go inside, and now you will see already that it's a huge store. There are lots of levels, and it's organized on that way. In the middle of the stores, you have lots of different items that they are offering, but on the side of the store, you have like a booth, And those booths are sorted according to the suppliers. So for example, the next one you will see is from Garmin. Now our video stopped, but in that I can show you the watch, for example. And if you are interested in sports things, watches and these kind of things, you enter in that booth. And you have immediately consulting from the guys which understand something from that topic and so on. So they call it something like tech village because there are lots of small houses, let's say, in that village, which are suppliers. Then we are going over the escalators to the next level. And you see already that the escalators are already designed on very special ways. So they are not boring anymore. There is even, light all around and you feel really interesting. What will you see if you reach the next level? In this case, we are reaching the vintage level more or less, where you can find very old vinyls, I think it's the English word. Nobody is using them more or less, but I love them as well, and people which are there as well. And beside that, there are areas where you can test everything, like music instruments or your CDs that you want to buy. Then you are going level up, the next level, and this is the level, this is the paradise from my son, because this is like a gaming area. You can meet your friends, you can play the board games over there, you can test each and every piece of hardware that you are using in gaming, but you can also order coffee and drink coffee over there. But the most interesting part is that there are items for everyone. For example, very modern gaming environment, but you will find also something which all the guys like me really like. Let me show you. Look at this. And you will see now one of the games that everybody on this planet knows. It's a Pac-Man. Everybody knows Pac-Man. So you can go there and just play Pac-Man, nothing else. You don't need to buy anything. And if you want to stream with your friends and to play game, you can do that immediately in that place. You see that space? There are more than 200 seats equipped with everything, with streaming systems, with lights, with micros, with camera, with everything. You just go there and you stream. You don't need to buy anything, but most probably if you are there and if you play with that kind of things, you will probably also buy something. So this is experience store. And the retailers are going in that direction. They are attracting the people, let's say, to spend the time in the store and to experience the product, not just to see them. They should touch the products. If they touch the product, the probability that they will buy it is, of course, always much higher. The POS systems are still traditional, so more or less just traditional checkout line, and the store is from outside, nothing special. But if you go inside, it's really, really great. That's it. Tourist guide through the store in Germany.
Wow, that store seems amazing. I would definitely go and try not to buy anything but play.
Try not to buy. This is good, yes.
Yeah. Milana, what do you think about this trend? What's your point of view?
Very, very interesting video and very interesting presentation of MediaMarkt. I'm thinking about this concept is definitely something that is popular and it will become more popular, but it will not be applicable in every single situation. For this concept, you need a really huge space where you can actually build everything in a way that you would like to attract the customers. What I can see right now that actually, at least if I'm speaking about Serbia, people and young kids, they like to hang out in shopping malls, but then they're getting a little bit of everything. So it's not like MediaMarkt that is offering everything, but the different retailers are offering different things, so they can have that. But I can give you another example. Just last week, I was in London. I was together with Darko for a partner event, and we've been hosted quite well by our partner. And one of the ideas was to visit F1 experience. So if we are speaking about the Formula One experience, so if you are speaking about Experience Hub, then I can use this as a really good example. So when you speak about Formula One, what I thought, it's just like, place where you go and then you have a possibility to test the formula and that's about it. But no, it's really different. Like when you're entering the store or space, you are actually, you get the security which is opening the door. when you're entering, you're going up the stairs like you're going into some discotheque or underground clubs, so all the lasers and the lights and everything. Then when you go, there is people at the counter waiting for you, and then they guide you further. You're getting your personal assistant, which is checking if you had a reservation or not. They're taking you to the table where you're waiting for your space to test the Formula One become available. Then once the Formula One is available, you go over there, you actually sit in a real seat of Formula where you have all the commands on the controller, where you have a screen in front of you. So we did a little race, but then once we are done, once we finished the race, we didn't leave the place because it's really nice place. It's like a bar with bar food, different food, really nice food, and a lot of drinks. Like you're in a discotheque, you're not there for the F1 experience, but you're actually in a place where you can hang out. And all the atmosphere and the people and everything else, it's not only about Formula One, it's the complete experience. So I think this is also count in this in these new trends that we are just describing right now. So I think this is also something that is becoming more and more popular.
Yeah, I just have to confirm that experience was really, really good and really nice. And at that moment, if you feel that good, you are ready to buy everything. So whatever makes, the complete story, you will do that. Of course, you will not buy the, I don't know what, but if it's somehow belonging to the story, the complete story, most probably you will buy everything. Or at least you will have one beer more than you thought you would have. We had one more.
Yeah, that's how it usually goes. So yeah, thank you for your thoughts. But yeah, so far we've covered agentic AI commerce, the rise of the super app, re-commerce, and now experience-based retail. What else do you think is a major trend for the year that's ahead of us?
Shall I start again? Okay. I'm not sure, Dunya, that you know what is QVC, because this is a little bit older, but Milan should know because it's an older generation topic. Did you hear about that? And did you ever watch, because it's TV, QVC?
QVC, I don't believe so, but I'll let Milan answer.
We said no trick questions, so I will I will return it back to Darko, and I would like to see the results. So please skip that, because I see that.
Yeah. See, you don't want to admit that you are old enough here. So let me do it following. QVC is going like this. You see this DJI Micro? This is perfect Micro. If you buy it today, I will get you 10% off. So basically, this is TV where somebody is presenting the product, giving you great offers. You can take your phone, you can pick up your phone, and you can call and buy that product. And if you ever watch that kind of shows, you will see the numbers on the screen going just like this. So 1, 2, 3.
I can admit I watched those shows.
You know that? You saw that?
Yeah, I know them. I remember them.
This is QVC. So one of the networks or whatever owners of those shows was QVC. And this is something which started many, many years ago. But now we have a QVC on steroids. So it's something very, very boosted and great, boomed. And this is so-called live streaming. This is nothing else than QVC with additional elements, like, for example, engagement. Now, yesterday, I was not able to engage with the definition and the presentation of the product. Now, I can type whatever. I can type and ask, could you please turn it around? Then I can ask somebody else who is watching the same stream, what do you think about that? So I can communicate with the people who are in the stream. So suddenly I have an engagement and I have communication. This was not possible yesterday as we had just QVC. Engagement and community strategy, like all of us are watching once on the same stream and we can talk to each other. This is creating very special sense of purchasing experience. So I'm not just purchasing product because I like the item. I'm purchasing because 1,500 other people in the stream likes it as well. And we are exchanging the information. They are telling me this feature is great and the other feature is maybe not that great. And the third very important point, the live streaming is mostly done with the kind of influencers, and those are the people which have the trust of the certain communities, of the certain people. Yesterday, as I was watching the QVC, I was watching more or less unknown person. Maybe I know that person because I watched several times the stream, but I don't know nothing about that person. Today, in the live streams which we have today, we see, of course, the people which are kind of influencers on those social networks. We are familiar with them and we trust them. And this combination, trust from the influencer, engagement, and communication, means sense of the community, are creating the live streams skyrocketing. So the numbers are unbelievable. Today, the numbers means the increase of sales done through the live commerce and live streams are skyrocketing. Just let me give you one number. In US, we are expecting, not we are expecting, but the certain very famous companies are expecting 114 billions of US dollars to be, let's say, to turn around, to be the value of the market in 2025. And this will definitely grow. And why do I think that it will grow in 2026 even more, that it will explode even more? Because I see what's happening with TikTok Shop, Instagram Live, and all those old tools which are implementing social commerce and live streaming in the platforms, which are already full with people. So there are millions of people already using the platforms, and now they are just getting offered very interesting experience-based purchasing model or purchasing way to buy the items. So that's why I'm sure it will explode even more. Interesting is also that we have now lots of new players in that area. So one kind of players are companies or platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and so on. But you should know that there are companies or platforms like Whatnot, for example, which are focused just on a certain part of the items or certain kind of the items, like, for example, collectibles. Whatnot is focused on the collectibles. But there are other tools as well, which are focused then on other segments of the retail market or general of the industries. And I think this will grow much more. And I'm not alone, let's say, in this kind of estimations. Some of the biggest companies like KPMG and McKinsey and so on, they are estimating that markets will grow in the next year by 66%, first in US and then in Europe as well. Interesting is also that we see the trend growing. That trend started in China, and this was the first, let's say, area in which we can see the explosion of that trend. The second one is US, and the third one is Europe. And this is exactly like a path of the trend developing first in China, over US, and then going to Europe. Again, we can see that there is a really like a pattern in that. So the trends are happening in the moment, either in US or in China, but the last stage of the trends are always European countries, because they are always a little bit slower in everything. So that will be the same in the next year, I'm sure.
Wow, thank you for those insights, Darko. And you mentioned quite a lot of things like social platforms, new apps that are purely built for commerce, and how Gen Z prefers to shop, and so on. Milan, how do you feel and how do you see this trend develop?
This is another trend that we've been discussing last year as well, and it's definitely becoming more and more popular, changing completely the concept from search product page cart to content, live interaction, instant purchase. But Darko already explained all these elements about importance of the influencer, about becoming a reoccurring touch point and everything. And he also mentioned this trend starting from China. Last year, I also published a video about it. But then when we speak about China, we really had interesting experience which is related to it. We went to a regular supermarket. We've been looking for certain products. And we tasted different things. It was quite interesting. But then you go to the different floor, and then you have a person which is standing next to the certain product and using megaphone right in the store and just yelling. Of course, we did not understand because it's on a Chinese, but I can assume it was like it was standing next to the eggs, so it was probably fresh eggs, come and pick up fresh eggs. So it was like a real life experience and a live commerce, which is so abandoned if I consider Europe, because I remember people selling things like that on the open market, still do in Serbia, but not something that is happening in a supermarkets on the regular retail stores any longer. So I was really wondering if the China is expanding, and then you're actually they are planning to open the supermarkets chains in the Europe or in the rest of the world. This is not something that is going to work. I cannot imagine a person in Germany or some other like using the megaphone and yelling next to the thing, and then people just coming and buy. But I might be wrong, because we see that this live commerce is actually taking effect. So maybe people will like to move from digital to real life. So that's actually something that actually can bring benefit to people in the future. Yes.
But this is a very good point, because this is also live commerce, of course. But if we talk about the way how the China is doing, then this way is certainly something very typical for them and very special for that area. But there is also other way around, where the Chinese people invented, for example, areas in the store to do the live streaming. So we went at the same trip, we went to Nike, and one of the parts.
But this is not live stream. You see,
this is different. Yes.
I mean, this is far away from that. But of course, sorry,
True.
Go ahead. Yes.
True. This is totally opposite concept, let's say. So they created the area in the store where you can go, like in that German store, where you can go, pick up the product of Nike, and you can do the live demonstration of the product as a private person in that store. And you have light, and you have equipment, you have everything there. And this is now something that I see slowly starting in Europe as well. In US, probably as well, but in Europe, I saw it coming as well. So I think this kind of live commerce will happen for sure in Europe and US, but yelling about the product, probably not. You're right. So Richard is asking, what happened to the virtual world? I like this question a lot. Can I pick up that? Okay. So actually, Richard is talking about very interesting trend that we saw a couple of years ago, which is related to the metaverse, how we call that. So it's everybody knows Second Life, and even Meta means Facebook changed the name to Meta, and the reason for that was actually metaverse. So a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, not longer, everybody was thinking about moving the retail into the virtual space, into the virtual world, which was called metaverse. And I thought this will happen for sure. And we did lots of even investigation about our own business and how to do that. But this was a failure from my point of view. So that never really started. And I suppose that the real added value was nobody was able to create the real added value with that. Technically, it was probably not that big issue. We were able to solve lots of problems like VAT topics as well with the blockchains, which is a technology behind. But everything else was a problem, and we were not able to solve that. And even from the accessibility point of view, it was and is still very difficult. You need maybe some kind of glasses, 3D or something like that. And if Apple just announced some of them a couple of months ago or a year ago or something like that, they are big, they are clumsy. You cannot wear them for several hours because they are, very, very hard and very heavy. So this means you can have them for just a short part of time that you spend in that kind of virtual world. So all that together probably caused that the trend was never really implemented. So some retailers started already some projects and even implemented some stores, even some very famous retailers, like for example, Carrefour in the Sandbox, they still have a area there and kind of stores. La Costa was the next one, and so on. So there are lots of retailers which did something, but it never took off, and the trend just stayed like an experiment from my point of view.
Thank you, Darko, for answering this question. I feel like, we could talk for days about this topic, but are you keen to choose one more trend for today?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, the last one, promised. let's talk about AI again, because then we have like a cycle. We started with AI, then we talked about real life, more or less. AI is also real life. And now let's finish with AI. So everybody is talking about hyper personalization. So really personalization driven by AI, so that everybody gets the items and experiences that just you like and you want to have. And I think this trend is very important to talk about, because it's not trend based on the hyper personalization. This is not the focus. This is not the point from my point of view. What I see is something else. I see the big amount of data which retailers are collecting through hundreds of sensors, which are all around the store, in the e-commerce environment as well. So they are collecting the data through the customer loyalty systems, through the sensors, through everything. Just to give you an example, on the last NRF in New York 2025, so in January, we saw the sensors on the shelves, which are actually catching your mood. Are you happy, or are you maybe sad? Or can you imagine that? So, and if you are sad, they are giving you nice music to be more happy in the store, for example. So they are influencing, using those data, of course, to influence you. But this example is showing just one place and one way to collect the data and to do something. If you take in account all the data that retailers are collecting, this is really, really huge. Until yesterday, we didn't have any chance to analyze those data, because they collected them, but they were not able to process them, to analyze them. They are simply too big and too many data. Even the data warehouse systems which we had and still have were not capable of making conclusions like prediction what somebody would buy, or why somebody is buying something, and what is actually what somebody really likes. Nowadays we have tools for that. So now we have AI, which is capable of analyzing millions of data sets in a second, and even not just analyzing them, but even making conclusions like, what do you really like? That's why I'm totally sure that in 2026, we will really see the revolution of the usage of those data, and most probably in the personalization in retail.
Thank you, Darko, for your point of view. I mean, I feel like we started with AI and we're finishing with AI, and like three of the trends you mentioned are AI driven. I mean, that's really something. I mean, we can say interesting, but also kind of obvious in the way that the world is going right now.
Yes.
Milana, what's your view on hyper?
I can agree with Darko. I mean, basically, there are so many possibilities right now to collect the different data, and then with the power of AI, you can also turn it in a tool that can boost your retail and sales in a different way. So definitely, it's this hyper-personalized AI experience is something that is going to become a boom in 2026, and there will be so many possibilities for these companies to approach you using this AI experience or using these AI tools to do so. Then the question will be actually, are they going to be able to approach you in a way that you will be happy to buy something, rather than crossing the line from helpful to invasive? So I think this is going to be the biggest challenge of these tools, because like I said, AI will be able to recognize whatever you need in the right moment, and it will approach you in so many different ways. So it's really questionable, is this something that we as human beings want?
Great. Thank you, Milan. Do you think that maybe we missed any important trends? Is there anything you'd like to add, maybe?
Not say missing trends, but maybe a couple of interesting things which are perfectly connected to everything that we spoke about so far. We spoke. I mean, it's obvious that checkouts are disappearing in this way or that way, and pioneer in this area was Amazon Go stores concept. But right now, that where you actually enter the store and then you are being recognized by the different systems. I don't want to go deep into these details because they've been the different stories. But then at the end, you're just leaving the store and you've been charged, your card being charged for whatever you took from the shelves. But right now, it's this is expanding in so many different ways with tokenized credentials, biometrics like Smile to Pay or Palm and Voice, digital wallets and account-to-account payments. We are basically moving to the one-tap checkout. You just confirm that you are done with the shopping and you can leave. And this is opening so many possibilities for the retailers in the different sectors, in the different segments, which brings me to another topic, which is a second trend which I see, which is a soft POS. And it perfectly connects to all the other trends that we spoke about. Because with the soft POS, you are able to turn any cell phone or tablet into the checkout, which you can use on a parking lot or at a concert or on a pop-up concept of the stores and so on. So basically, any location, wherever you are, it becomes the checkout place where you can actually perform the transaction. So I think these two elements, with combination with everything we spoke about so far, is actually going to bring some future to the retail. Future which is happening right now already.
Soft POS is very good point. I like this point a lot because there are lots of questions in the market about how to fiscalize that, because this is not something which is same in each country, because you have also banking part which is influencing the protocols and security and these kind of things. So from the technical point of view, it's difficult to implement, of course, but from the logical and business point of view, it's absolutely something which is great and covering exactly one problem of the retailers which they have. So that's why I totally agree with you.
But you know, you and I spoke many times about a revolution in this. I would not call it banking industry, but payment industry, because all these payment providers are now actually building up by introducing more than just a payment. So soft POS has a lot to do with them. And then they are actually the ones who are actually owning the concept and then moving more into the cash register than they did before. So definitely, yes, this is something that is helping people to execute the payment wherever they are.
Wow. Okay. I think we talked about a lot of stuff today. First, I want to thank you both for some truly great insights. But also, even though we talked about a lot of stuff, I think that in the end, you can say that the story today was kind of simple, since, retail is moving from clicks to conversions, from stores to experiences, and from segments to individuals. And, AI agents are starting to shop for us. ChatGPT is turning into a new retail channel. Nowadays, we have secondhand becoming first choice, and stores are just, becoming a place to feel, not only to buy. Shopping is going live, social, and as Milan mentioned, checkout is quietly disappearing. And I believe that all of this points out to one thing, is that retail in 2026 will feel less transactional and, I believe, far more human. I want to thank you all for spending this time with us on Retail Talk. You should follow us if you are keen on listening to more conversations like this. And hopefully, we'll see you tomorrow on our latest webinar about fiscalization in Hungary. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. It was great to have you with us. See you soon again. Bye.